Hey everybody, welcome to Court Addict with ATX Alli. I am the
Hey,
worst.
everybody.
I'm the worst at reading. I start up something like that, and I completely just stop as soon as I start seeing words.
Words are hard sometimes, but yeah. Plus, the font sometimes gives it like when you're trying to read it off of the background. Yeah. I get it.
Well,
Hey, everybody, how you doing tonight?
I like graffiti, and it's hard to come up with a backdrop that looks good with graffiti.
Right.
And
No,
so,
I love it. I think it looks great, but I could see if you just looked at it at a glance, you'd be like, I have no idea what that says.
yeah, it's either I can think, or I can read, or I can talk. I can't do all three at the same.
Mm-hmm.
And so, hey, today in Judge Fleischer's court, we had the guy that had a DUI from weed, and it was brought back up, and he got to talk back again with the judge. We've got the first one from last week. Give us quick notes on if we need to do a summary of it, or if you guys want to see that one again. If you just want a summary of it, we can get a summary for those who may have missed it, but it's up to you guys. And it looks like we got a good crowd over here already. That's neat. Thank you all.
That's awesome. Thank you guys so much for coming in. We really, really appreciate it.
So the last show that we did, actually got demonetized, and I was able to argue it with YouTube, and we got it back.
Yeah, I think it's that wonderful YouTube AI that just immediately kicks anything out that they don't think. And then once they have a real human look at it, then they're like, oh, that's not so bad. So typical YouTube.
Yep, and we were able to fix it up, and they were able they calmed down and they gave it back. And so welcome everybody there. A bunch of comments already coming through. I get distracted reading them, and I seen Kathy in the other morning. You almost see her like put her hands beside her eyes to just kind of put blinders on. Don't look at the comments just yet.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so if someone is as seasoned at it as Kathy can understand the importance of not reading the comments, I need to learn it. So real quick, everybody, should we show last week's where the lawyer and the judge went back and forth, or should we jump into today's? And so it was back.
It was on Friday, I think, wasn't
Yeah.
it?
Yep.
Yeah, it was at the end of the day Friday, I think.
Yep.
We
It
can
was.
watch it. It doesn't matter. I think it's only like 10-15 minutes. We can watch it real quick and then go into the second one if you guys are up to it.
All right. We'll jump into it. Let's go to it. This is the one from it was either Thursday or Friday. I think it was Friday. So it may feel like you're getting a little bit of repeat, but there's a follow up today on it, and it's an interesting conversation because I think my opinion has changed since last week. I
Really?
think, whenever I was watching it today, I was talking with Emily, and I think my opinion's changed. So let's jump in and see if I just got more stubborn or became more understanding.
Let's go.
What's your name? Hey, what's new?
I'm here. It's off docket on Caleb Jones, who appeared, I want to say it was Friday. It's for a DWI second. I was going to bring in you the medical marijuana stuff, the doctor. And then also, he needs to have it was a crash. He doesn't have a car. We need to do a portable on it and a no driving affidavit. I brought him in.
I don't know if I'm going to let him continue to smoke weed. Why does he need to continue to smoke weed?
It's for PTSD. He shot himself and lost a finger. I have medical records, and it is an actual doctor prescription from Texas, and you can.
Luckily enough, I think
there's a
these
number
fellas are
that you can
short.
actually, I want to do this when people say that it's a number that calls for the state, and they will verify the person.
ATX, I say, and thankfully, both of these fellas are short, so I can throw it out there and not
Nathan,
have the comments.
can you
not
talk
make
to me real
everybody's
quick?
head.
Right.
Hey, what's going on? These are actual records. And the letter from his doctor.
Like, what's the state's position on this? So this gentleman is charged with DWI.
Okay.
Is it a alcohol DWI? Is it a marijuana DWI?
There's no DRE, but it's not alcohol. But I don't
So
think it's,
I'm not-
I don't think it's drugs either, Judge. But I don't think I think that's it's like you saying.
So jumping into it real quick, is there any sort of structured number for how much marijuana can make someone impaired? And what I mean by that is we've decided that 0.08 is the alcohol impairment.
I don't think so. I don't think that they have established any of that. I haven't heard of that. I think as long as it's just present is what they've been doing right now. But
Well,
I haven't found,
I,
I haven't heard of any of that.
again, I'm anti-weed. I think it's a poison. I think it's horrible, and we're all going to die from it. But I truly, that's kind of being awfully petty, ain't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Gina, the according to the lawyer, he has PTSD from from the self-inflicted wound, and I could see that because someone who tries to take themselves out is also a victim of that crime. So,
But he shot his finger off, so it wasn't exactly. I think it was an accident.
yeah, I guarantee you if
I have no idea. I don't
guarantee
know.
if I shot my pinky off or my toe or something, I'll cry to death.
Right.
I feel the same way about snakes. I'm not scared of snakes at all, but I'm certain if I got bit by a non-poisonous snake, I'd die of dehydration. I'd just lay there and cry thinking I was dying.
Yeah, that sounds right. You are married, and husbands do have that thing where they immediately, anytime they're sick or injured, the whole world just comes to an end.
Yeah, but
I don't think he was suicidal, Genius. I think it was just an accident. All we know is that it was self-inflicted, and his finger got shot off. So that's all we know.
Yeah, I thought they used the S word, so I don't know.
I didn't hear that. Maybe I missed it. So let's watch and find out.
Yeah. Let's
You
jump.
can't have their blood pressure medication. It's a true doctor prescription.
I'll be happy to look at the case and talk to Dustin this morning, Judge.
Well, the thing is that it's a marijuana DWI, and he wants to continue smoking marijuana.
But he's not driving
How do I know that?
because he doesn't have a car. He crashed it.
Does he have
How
a
do I know
medical?
he can't borrow a car from his neighbor, from his
Well,
mom?
Judge, that's all assumptions. We can't just assume things. We have
Does
to
he
give
have a
him
medical
benefit.
exemption?
He does.
He does. So he has a medical exemption, apparently.
How do we know that it's from a legitimate doctor though? Because
Wow.
Well, I just gave the records to you, Judge,
Well,
but there's a phone number you can
I
call.
agree with you, Judge.
You can call the phone number.
I'd be happy to just. I would like to look at the case, just the merits of the case, before maybe we do any
Listen,
more attention
take a look with Nathan.
than maybe necessary.
Yes, Judge.
Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Joaquin, I'll hit you next.
Okay. All right. So, Judge, they called the Texas number.
Does Saba actually call a line and has information to the court? I don't know if it's going to be helpful to resolve things today, but I think it'll be helpful to move things in the future, potentially. So.
Judge, so I spoke to, what's the name of the?
Texas Compassionate
Yeah,
Use
Texas
Program.
Compassionate Use Program. I spoke to them. They're gonna give me, they said confirmation within 1 to 3 business days regarding whether or not the defendant in fact does have a medical marijuana card.
I have a problem allowing someone who has a DWI because of marijuana, continuing to allow them to smoke marijuana.
Let's verify first that he does have a lawful prescription through the state of
I'm going to
Texas.
tell him no smoking for now until we're able to verify something.
Okay.
No, but he has a DWI for marijuana. We're
But
going
that'd be like you telling a diabetic they can't have their insulin. It's a
no,
Just because you disagree
no.
with it doesn't
That's a
mean
life
it's not.
diabetic medication. It's a life-saving information. This is not.
Maybe marijuana is too now. We don't know. I'm not a doctor. You're not a doctor. We're not researchers. But enough has happened with the legislature has approved this, and the prescription has been. If it's truly a valid prescription to the state of Texas, I think there's a problem with this, Judge.
I'm going to tell you, even if he has a valid prescription, I have a problem allowing someone to use marijuana when they're on bond for a DWI with
I
marijuana.
get that, but that's not Judge. That's not appropriate. I mean, what you're saying is if that is a true legal medication, you're saying that you just don't agree with that medication. If it's truly a legal prescription, that's what I'm getting at. And I'm not trying to pick this
Come
fight
up,
or
sir.
anything. I just
Come up.
But I want
to know why there's no other way to medicate.
that's for a doctor to tell us. Is I don't know, Judge. I'm not
I
qualified to
want
give that
to,
opinion.
what I'd like to do is I'd like to talk to the doctor who prescribed it to figure out why there's no other reasonable way to medicate.
If the doctor will talk, let's wait to let's get the confirmation from the state of Texas that it is a true lawful prescription. I'm not trying to pick this fight with you if it's not. That's
Understand.
stupid on my part. But
Listen, I have thick skin and I'm not going to begrudge you for zealously advocating for your client, but at the same time, also have thick skin that I have a DWI. It's a marijuana DWI. And anytime I have a DWI with whatever substance that is, I have them stop using whatever substance that contributed to the DWI, whether it's alcohol, whether it's pills, whether it's marijuana in this case, whether it's psilocybin, whether it's acid, meth.
What if it's Xanax or cyclobenzaprine or tramadol? We don't do that. You see what I'm getting at?
Xanax, yes. I mean, yes, but why not use Xanax instead of marijuana then?
Well, people rob convenience stores on Xanax. And
No, no,
they're
no,
barred
no.
out.
Now
Don't
you're,
talk.
don't, now you're getting apples and
What I'm getting
oranges.
at is,
But no, but
and I don't know.
there has to be another way to.
Why don't we do this? And this is what I've done in Montgomery County, which they are way harder to deal with because when you practice. Why don't I do it this way is get a letter from the doctor that states what Montgomery County does is that based on their analysis and their treatment and whatever plan it is, that there's no other non-narcotic medication.
But I know that any doctor's going to write that. I really want
That's
to
their
know
medical
why.
license on the line if they're lying. They're not gonna make that statement, just like I would as a lawyer.
But Dustin, I would like to know why there's no other way to medicate. Why can't they take what's Vraylar? I'm not a medical doctor, but there's so many other antidepressants out there. There's so many other
And so
medications to use.
let's just wait. Well, first let's wait to the state of Texas, the actual state of Texas is authorizing that as a prescription. Let's just do that first. And
I'm
then,
going to assume that that is the case.
Okay.
Even if that is the case, we still have the same thing. I'd like to know why there are no other ways to medicate other than marijuana.
right, but we don't stop somebody's medical treatment while we're waiting to get that result. That's all I'm asking is like, let's work, let me work on that and get it, but please do not order him not to use a prescription medication that he has.
But I don't know I don't know if it's prescription.
But if we get that, you say if we're assumed does. So if he's lying and it's not a prescription, well, then that's a whole other issue for all of us, including his attorney.
What's up, man?
But today, the main thing I'm here today on is I need you to order him to have a portable device because he has no vehicle.
Do what?
I need to have the change to a portable device because he has no vehicle. He can't put an interlock on his car because he doesn't have one that goes around. So he has no car. You
So where's the car?
tell me that. I have no idea.
It is, it's actually, they just got out the lot and it's at a repair shop.
Once it
So
is
he's
repaired,
gonna
he
get a
will
car
put it
any
on.
minute.
Right, he'll put it in as soon as it's repaired, but he doesn't have one right now.
Get the car back.
They said it could take anywhere from 5 to 6 weeks because the axle broke off the tire wheel.
An NCIC on him. I'd like to see what full kind of criminal history that he has, please.
And I can tell you, Judge, I've represented him for a long time. He's got the one car DWI here. He has a PTI program for heroin use that he completed, and he's off heroin use. And part of that was the PTSD causing him to use drugs, and that's part of this passionate use now.
Another DWI?
It's a second. That's why he has that's why you ordered an interlock, because it's a DWI second.
How long ago was the other DWI? And where was it?
He was here in Harris County, Judge.
It was about like 6, 7 years ago. I was like 21, 22.
And then it's got the dismissed PCS that was that he did the PTI program through Rick Court.
Last name again?
It's Caleb Jones, Judge. It's all your history's here in Harris County, correct?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought.
He's had 4 total arrests, Judge, 2 DWIs,
That's this one, is one of those.
yes. A possession of a controlled substance and an unlawful carrying of a weapon,
What
The
was
first
the,
DWI is 2018, Judge.
yes.
And the PCS was a dismissal. I don't remember if the UCW was a dismissal or not. I don't remember. I represented them on it, but I don't recall.
when was the PCS? What's the cause number, please? Because for some reason I don't have it here.
I can give it to you, Judge. The cause number for this is 2532601. So the carrying of a handgun was in 2020 in a motor vehicle. That was in 2020. It was dismissed, Judge. The possession of a controlled
It's a
substance.
6th case.
Well, I don't have access to this juvenile stuff, but I see four.
No, I'm not looking at
Criminal
juvenile.
history.
I'm not
I don't
looking at
think he has
juvenile. He has a UCW that was dismissed.
Okay.
Unsatisfactorily terminated probation
On DWI.
from 2020. a year later picks up a gun case, a year later picks
Which is
up
dismissed.
a year later,
Dismissed.
another, you,
Possession was dismissed. This is this one. But there was this one on the possession case from 2020. That was a conviction, 6-month state jail, deferred adjudication. And then that, and DWI from 2018 was unsatisfactory termination.
I didn't know about that. I didn't see the other PCS judge. I'm sorry. I wasn't there.
he's never successfully completed a probation.
Completed a PTI program. Didn't he? Am I wrong?
No, it says unsatisfactory.
No, you go to the PCS for the PTI program, wasn't it?
No, I didn't.
You didn't complete it?
No,
Okay.
That one was.
That's why I was sent to state
I'm
jail.
sorry. I apologize. I misspoke. So that was when he had an opiate problem.
Well, I had finished it and
There
then the
was
second I
another-
got out of one.
Okay.
Yeah.
I drug test you now, what's gonna show up?
The marijuana, sir.
What else?
Well, do you have prescription? Your prescription?
I do have prescriptions. I take a Valium like only when like I have a seizure because I have epilepsy, sir. But other than that, though, everything else is non-narcotic. I take a Lamictal. Oh yes, I do take Subzol. That's to help me out keep me off the pain medication and stuff like that. Suboxone.
What else?
And
Do you have a Xanax prescription or no?
no, it's Valium.
Valium, sorry, my mistake.
But it's a nasal spray though, so it's only like when it's necessary. I'm actually like in a seizure.
I'd like to send him for a drug test now. I wanna know everything that's in his system.
That's all you have in your system is what? The marijuana
The marijuana, the Subzol, and
and Suboxone?
I don't know, Dustin. I don't know. I don't know if we're just contributing to the behavior, you know? I mean, I don't understand. What I don't understand are why there's no other ways we can medicate.
Judge,
To
my concern at this point is that I don't know what the test says of what he was or was not on at the scene, because my understanding is the DWI took place, what, on the 8th or something? When was it?
It was a week ago. We were hearing court on Friday. so-
Right, so it takes about 30 days to figure out what's actually in his system or not in his system. So I'm struggling with that.
is there a breath test? Is there a blood test? What is it?
It was a voluntary blood, Judge.
And we don't have the labs back, Judge.
It's a 4-6 HGN, zero walking, a 0-1 leg stand, 4 walking turn. He had medical marijuana on him, like the prescription.
Living.
I'm sorry.
Do it for a living.
Right now, I'm waiting on disability, but I do like entrepreneur work where I like stock invest and stuff like that, just to make some pocket change. I'm sorry.
How do you get money?
Right now, I'm in between jobs, sir.
His parents hired me, Judge.
Dustin's not cheap.
Oh, no, my parents helped me with that, sir, on a payment plan. It's very hard to find work when you're have lupus and epilepsy and stuff like that.
Baloney. It's hard to find work when you get felony convictions. And what you do in the last 5 years, you picked up one case every single year. And you want me to continue to allow you to smoke weed. I have a problem with that. And I really do, Mr. Jones, because historically speaking, since 2020, I'm sorry, since 2018, you are now on your 6th case. And I get it that some of them been dismissed, but nevertheless, it's 6 cases. And all of them have to do with either drugs or alcohol. So for me to allow you to continue to use, it would be enabling you, telling you that it's okay when it's not. In life, this is addiction is a lifelong problem that you're going to be dealing with. And at some point, you're going to have to get off of everything. You can't continue this forever, because the problem is that at some point, whether you're going to get this, whether you're going to get that, whether you're going to the dealer's house to do this, or wherever you're getting your stuff from, peer pressure's bitch. And it scares me to think, when you're at a really vulnerable moment in your life, when you run into the wrong person, you may end up spiraling out of control, where once you are able to deal with this because it's mind over matter. Mind over matter. When you have a strong mind and when you have a strong heart, you can do anything in life. And if anybody tells you otherwise, it's baloney. Because with a strong mind and a strong heart, you can achieve anything in life. And what I don't understand is how you cannot find another way to self-medicate. That's what I don't understand. And that's why I would like to talk to the doctor who's prescribing this to see why is there no alternate way to medicate. I mean, he's already on Valium. Did you say he's on Xanax as well?
Or when he has a seizure, Judge. I was wrong on the Xanax. It's Valium, not Xanax. I was bringing a seizure. But he's on
one hand, it's
He used to be,
6 and doesn't one happen in the other.
Judge, all I know is a doctor's prescribing it. He doesn't get it from the dealer. He gets it from the state of Texas through their pharmacy. So I don't know what else to present to you. That's all I can present to you. Yeah. I guess let's try to do a rush on the blood and do a quick trial setting.
The other thing I'm going to do, Dustin, is that if it's an absolute must, I don't want him out in the middle of the night. I'm giving him a curfew because I don't trust him and I don't want him out in the middle of the night. Nothing good happens at 1 or 2 in the morning, and I don't want you out in the middle of the night. And I'm going to give you a curfew, because if you're going to continue to smoke, the last thing I want is you out in the middle of the night being up to no good.
And I think you'd rather do that, Judge.
I honestly have no issue with that at all.
And I'm going to put a monitor on you so I know where you are and I don't want you out. I'm going to give you a curfew, 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. But you're not out in the middle of the night. And then I want you back here in 3 days and bring me what you got. I'm telling you that I'm hard pressed and I want to know why there's no other alternate method of treatment, that it has to be marijuana.
So if you're not allowed to use the marijuana yet, so let's not put them on a curfew yet.
No, I'm not gonna, if I'm gonna give them a curfew, I'm gonna,
Okay, that's fine.
But I'm back here in 3 days and I want to know why. And I want to know why there's no other reasonable way to medicate and it has to be marijuana. And the only reason is because this is a DWI with marijuana.
When are you seeing your doctor again?
I'm actually supposed to speak to the cannabis clinic tomorrow.
No, I don't care about the cannabis clinic.
That's the doctor.
That's the doctor. That's
the doctor that prescribes the Judge.
I see. So it's the fox guarding the hen house.
I have no idea. I mean, that's only, only those doctors who are licensed by Texas can prescribe it. So yes, it is the cannabis clinic because that is the only doctor who can prescribe it. They have to register with Texas.
Going to the cannabis clinic. Where is it?
You have to get it. That's
Austin, actually.
They're in Austin.
They're out of based out of Austin.
There's now one over on Richmond Avenue that just opened because
they have satellites here in Houston, but they're based out of Austin.
Judge, if we are getting a reset on this, I just ask that it be.
It's not even a reset. It's off topic because I'm trying to get the driving issues.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just by 1 to
253-2601.
They said 1 to 3 business days. So I should have their response by Tuesday. So let's say the Wednesday, if you want to come back in at that point.
Can we come in on Wednesday, Judge? That's when she'll have to
Sure.
back to the doctor.
Sure, but
I'm sorry, from the state of Texas.
According
so he gets the monitor. I'd like to send him for a drug test now. I want to know what everything is in the system. If there's something more than just value, I'm going to have a real big problem with it, Dustin. If I see that there's opiates in there or something else that's not supposed to be in there, I'm telling you now, I'm going to have a real problem.
Whatever that shows as. I don't know what Suboxone shows as, but that will be in there.
It shows up as buprenorphine.
Okay, then yes, that will
So
be.
if it's Suboxone, it'll show up as buprenorphine. But if it shows up as benzodiazepine,
And you haven't used any opiate, you haven't used any Valium or anything recently?
I went to the ER and they gave me some medication.
What day?
I don't have the paperwork. It was
Last week, 3 weeks ago?
yeah. It was about like a week and a half ago.
That's,
Something like that.
that'll be,
Oh, but that's it though. That's it.
okay, but we need to know what that is.
Yeah, but
we'll see. I'm sending him for a test now, but I'm going to tell you now. No dope while you're on bond in this court,
sir.
unless otherwise given. If I find that you're using any kind of opiates whatsoever, I'm going to keep you. And I don't care if they're hooting, hollering, crying, no opiates no alcohol. Do you understand? You get a monitor for both today.
Sir.
So I'm going to put a scram on one, a thing, and I'll pay for everything.
Just he has no alcohol issues. I mean, he hasn't used alcohol in years. No, I mean, it's not even alcohol DWI. There's zero alcohol at all on this DWI. That's, I know you're saying, I'm arguing for you because I think having the scram and I think the scram is a little excessive, Judge. It truly is.
See, one in lieu of the other I was going to do. I'm not going to do both. That's silly. Of course not. I'm not going to do both.
Okay, so just so we have two ankle monitors on one scram and one GPS, then he doesn't have to worry about the blower, the portable.
You want the blow?
Well, I'd rather have a portable than it's just that's a lot to be wearing and stuff. I mean, I don't know. Are you okay with
So,
doing every 8 hours?
I'm
GPS with a curfew, and then he gets a portable today, please.
Yes.
And then the curfew, and then we send it for the test now, and then we'll see him on Wednesday.
We have the curfew of 10 p.m. to 6 a.m.
And then waive all the fees.
Thank you, Judge. And do they have portables through the? I know I'm arguing for that. Do they do portables through probation? Is he able to get a device that probation pays for it or raises it?
I have no idea about probation.
Okay, I'm sorry, or through pre-trial, whoever.
Is he able to get a portable through?
That's what I'm asking.
Retrial?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. That's.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you now, though, if he's using opiates, and I'm gonna tell you now, if I find that you're using opiates, you and I, our life together here is going to be very, very difficult. It stops now. Do you understand?
Sure.
You need to do whatever you can to stop using, because if you don't, I am now affording you the opportunity to stop using everything now. If you don't, we're going to do it my way, and I promise you, you're.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that last part.
He didn't hear your last part, Judge. I apologize.
I'm giving you the opportunity to stop using dope now. If you are unable to, then we're going to do it my way. And I promise you, you're not going to like the way that I do it. It's going to happen. It's not if, it is when, and it's now. Do you understand?
Absolutely.
Because I'm done playing. And the last thing I want, believe it or not, Mr. Jones, I want what's best for you. Okay. And sometimes we have to save people from themselves. But so far, whatever you've been doing, it's not working because in the last 6 years, you've got 6 cases. So whatever you're doing, it's not working. And you need to do something to change your life, because I'm telling you, it's going to be a lifelong battle with you. And you have to come to terms with it, that this is mind over matter. You need to find something to do. You need to find something to occupy your time, because when you have too much time, you become self-destructive, because that's the type of personality you have. And I'm telling you, because I have the same personality as well. I'm a very self-destructive person, but I'm always occupying my time, whether it's playing Fortnite with my son, whether it's running in the day, whether it's, shaving my dog's pup gut, whatever it is. I'm always finding time to occupy myself. And that's what you need to do to get over this lifelong battle, because if not, it's going to take you by the boo-boo, and it's not going to end up well, like it has been so far. All right. See you soon.
Judge, so just to confirm, we're removing the condition to get the IID. Jones, right this way.
To do the what?
Ignition interlock.
No, the ignition interlock stays, because that way DPS needs to know.
All the previous conditions, just adding
Correct.
testing today and getting those devices.
He'd rather be honest with you that there may be an opiate. There may be, he did an oxycodone about 4 days ago. So it may be positive. He'd rather just
I want to
know.
say, I want to know exactly what he's on, because
He'd rather be honest about it.
All right, we're going to jump in there. That was last week, Thursday or Friday. So I apologize for any of y'all that had just seen that and felt like they were watching a rerun. It was important for anyone who hadn't to see where we come into it today. There's a lot of people talking in there about him being in recovery and him doing, working things out. And then at the end there, you saw that, Alli, did you hear him say that there's some opiates? They're going to find some opiates in it?
Yeah.
What is-
I mean, we were
what does
all,
that
I
mean?
think we were all I think we were all on board with this guy at the beginning, and then as the case slowly trickled by and more information trickled out, we're like, okay, maybe this guy isn't on the straight and narrow. I don't know. If he's on Suboxone, he shouldn't be testing negative or he shouldn't be testing positive for opiates because, for one, mixing them is not a good thing. Plus, I don't know if you can mix them and get high because Suboxone might be one of the ones where it blocks it so no opiates can get on it, on your receptors. I'm not quite sure about that, but he should, if he's on Suboxone, he should be taking opiates because that's why he's on the Suboxone, to get away from the opiates. So that doesn't fare well. He did mention he was in the hospital a couple of days ago for something. So we'll see if there's records to substantiate that. Yeah, I think we all came to the conclusion that the judge should have taken away his license so he doesn't drive. But I don't think he should take away his ability to smoke weed. However, as we learned as the case progressed, sounds like he's getting his weed from one of the weed clinics that just write prescriptions after a 2-minute conversation, and then getting actual prescriptions from a doctor, and neither are talking to each other. Because you really shouldn't be smoking weed if you're on Lamictal, because that's a mood stabilizer, and those don't play nicely together. And Brecken said she she's had experience with that. She got really sick after mixing those very things. So I think the judge is right that somebody needs to tell the doctor, or if the doctor says all of these are okay together, then okay, he'll be okay with it. But I think his instincts were right that the two weren't talking to each other.
Well, but can what is it okay to have two doctors? I know in Florida they've got it set up to where if you go to get any prescription, they've got a network that'll basically link your profile, link your who you are to your prescriptions. I don't know how that works with HIPAA. I'm not a healthcare professional, so I don't care.
Well, the
seems,
way that the medical marijuana works here is you don't fill your prescription like at Walgreens. You fill it through that clinic usually, and they're the ones who supply you with the weed or the gummies or whatever. It's not. So I don't know. I'm pretty sure they write the prescription and they fill it. As far as I know, that's what my friend has done here. When she got in her car accident, she got a prescription through a doctor that she talked to online, and then she always goes to this one place that's like the drop off to pick up her weed gummies. It seems super sketchy, but that's the way they do it.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna, I'm hardly not an advocate for weed or anything, but I think if someone, like right now, if someone smokes a joint right now and then goes to bed, tomorrow morning they get up for work at 6 or 7 in the morning, and they go to work and they get in a car accident and they test, they find it in the system. I think that waters down the whole idea of what a DWI is.
Right. And I think that they've got to figure that out sooner or later, about being able to measure how intoxicated someone is by their weed content by some sort of blow test. They got to figure that out eventually, because that's exactly right. I'm pretty sure they're going to get eventually, if they haven't already, got Supreme Court cases saying, hey, how are you going to say this was a DUI? But I don't know. I'm not a lawyer.
I wish we as a country could kind of grow up on that whole idea. And just, never just kind of say adults have to be responsible adults.
Right.
Because my son's into bodybuilding and weightlifting and stuff like that. And if he took a whole bunch of steroids and they blew his heart out, I would be just as violently against steroids. And, an uncommon thing in the United States is steroids are absolutely legal. You just can't compete with them. You can't be an athlete. That's what makes them illegal, not the law. They're not okay for competition. And so I'm just saying, you take steroids for medical reasons and then you abuse them for, bodybuilding or weightlifting, and, it can be deadly, but it's also, a medicine that some people need. The steroids, burn victims, and all kinds of other people need steroids for healing. So.
Right.
I don't know. I just wish we can figure it out. Well, let's go to today. Today was the follow-up. It seemed like they were talking about they wanted to have him back in court on Wednesday. So him showing up on court on Monday was kind of curious. So,
let's see what happened today.
Let's see what happened today. Here we go.
So
I'm on, Kaylee Jones, sorry, just kind of like there. So they contacted, the compassionate use program last week. They told her 2 to 3 business days, and then they sent her an email saying that they wouldn't give her the information without my client sending a request authorization form. So she just told me that, she forwarded it to me. I'm gonna do that today and get that handled. And I don't know how.
Friday afternoon, Judge, from them. So after.
But I'm telling you now, I'm gonna have a problem with it. I don't think it's the right thing to do. Not when you're on, I mean, there has to be other ways to medicate other than with marijuana.
I honestly can't tell you that. I honestly don't.
Well, then I want him to see a legitimate, psychiatrist, doctor, if he needs to if he has PTSD, to deal with it, not go to a doctor at a cannabis clinic where they're going to, of course, prescribe you marijuana.
They're MDs licensed by the state of Texas. I mean, that's just like.
I don't know that. And then, well, I mean, I got to imagine that if he goes to a regular psychiatrist, just a regular psychiatrist off the street, are they going to prescribe marijuana or are they going to prescribe something else?
They really can't. They have to be licensed with the compassionate use program through Texas. So no, your therapist cannot prescribe it because they're not licensed to do it.
Right.
This cannabis doctor is licensed to do it.
I don't feel that it's right when someone has a DWI with marijuana to let them continue to smoke marijuana.
I understand.
So
I mean, I understand your position, Judge. What do you want me to do at this point? Like right now, what is your wish?
if he truly has PTSD,
Yes.
then I think that he really needs to see a doctor, a licensed psychiatrist, not just the people at the cannabis clinics.
Okay, so you want to have another doctor that he's treating?
Well, no, I don't. I just, there has to be another way to.
Position that's gonna put me in a bind for telling somebody they can't go to their doctor. Like.
No. And look,
I'm not trying
you guys do, you guys need to do whatever you're gonna do, right? But
none of us want to deal with. I don't want to deal with it.
and I'm gonna tell you, it's a new thing for all the judges here now with all the marijuana cards now, trying to deal with how someone medicates, especially when someone has an opiate problem and they're continuing to use. And they want me to continue to smoke marijuana.
I will say,
I don't.
Judge Giddey has approved it for a client of mine, and Judge Ward.
I don't care about other judges. I don't care.
But what's going to happen is if you use the medicine that they're prescribed by their doctor, it's going to be a huge blow up that none of us want to deal with. Like, I don't want this on the news. I don't want to be a lawyer standing from the camera.
I don't care.
This is medical. This is not legal. It's not a legal issue. It's a medical issue. But when you make it a legal issue, then that's where it gets to be a little sticky between this, because if the state of Texas says it's okay, I don't see where don't take this the wrong way. I don't see that you have the legal authority to tell Texas they can't do that. And that's what we're getting into, because you're saying that doctor.
If someone has a DWI, a marijuana DWI, right? And they want to continue to smoke marijuana, I have a problem with that.
What if they have a Xanax DWI and they want to continue using their Xanax that their psychiatrist prescribed? What's the difference?
And I don't know. I have not come across that issue, so I don't know what I'm going to do. But
medication.
I have a problem with it, Dustin.
That's not.
So
Morley doesn't have a problem with it. You're telling somebody, a licensed physician prescribing something, they can't use it because you have a problem with it. That's the issue that we're seeing. So, I mean, I respect the court's, whatever the court, orders, we'll respect that, but I just need to know what steps you want me to take. Like,
I don't know. Let me think about it, because I'm gonna talk with the other judges as well to see what, because I'd like to get a second opinion as to what other judges think about it as well.
I don't fights, you know that. Like, I'll always advocate, but I'm not trying to start something that doesn't need to start.
Dustin, I'm never going to begrudge a lawyer for zealously advocating, and I respect you for doing it. Really, I'm never going to fault you, but I really have a problem with someone who has a DWI and they're continuing to use the same substance that they got the DWI with. In every respect, when I see that come here, I try to get them to stop taking whatever they're taking.
Yeah. And I will advise him he should try to take those steps. I mean, I got a problem with that.
I have to imagine, had he gone to a normal, any other psychiatrist other than one at the Cannabis Cup, they 9 times out of 10 would have prescribed alprazolam, something else to deal with the PTSD. And I mean, what is it here? He shoots himself in the finger. Isn't that the PTSD?
Yeah. I mean, everybody's made different.
I get it. But regardless, I think that, have you seen anyone else?
So I guess can we reset for a week? That way I'll get the documentation. I'll
How
get you
long
some
is it gonna-
information.
Judge, I'm not sure. They emailed me
I don't
on
want
Friday.
that long, Dustin, because I don't want him to continue to smoke weed. For
Well, he
that.
is on your curfew and he's on the monitor. So I mean, we're at least keeping him from being outside during the hours that you're concerned about.
How long do you think?
Judge, I really don't know how long it would take them to process it. Say hypothetically, if they told me 2 to 3 business days and then we send the request today, I don't imagine that they would take longer than 2 to 3 business days, but he's going through it with a HIPAA. So
They're gonna have to, what this is saying is he has to email them with his information, then they're gonna send him a form that he's gotta fill out allowing that information to be given. So
say it
as soon as
takes
they,
2 to 3 business days for them to respond to him and then with the
Okay, so
form.
let's do this. I'll set it off for a week.
Yeah.
I'm sending him for a drug test now. Come up, Mr. Jones.
I think that's great, Judge.
I mean, he has no problem doing his weekly testing.
Dustin, if he's using any kind of opiates, I'm gonna, if you're using any opiates, anything that you're not supposed to, it's not going to go well between us. Do you understand?
Absolutely, yes, sir.
How come you have not seen any other licensed psychiatrist other than the cannabis people?
I actually have. I was prescribed the alprazolam for 6 years, but it actually caused me to have like seizures if I like missed it like a couple hours late and stuff like
You're
that.
not supposed to stop taking it.
I'm not saying like not I'm saying like if I slept in, like I could actually wake up at like 8 o'clock in the morning and have seizures because it's delirium tremors is what they call it.
Side effects of when you take hardcore, powerful narcotics like these, you can't just stop taking it. You can't just, when you stop, they wean you off. And when you don't take it as regularly prescribed, there are serious side effects. One of those being, convulsions, all types of side effects, including seizing, right? So it's not because you're taking the Xanax, it's because you didn't take it when you're supposed to. So don't blame the Xanax for causing you to seize. It's the fact that you didn't take it that caused you to seize. Why not? Why stop? So you're not taking the alprazolam anymore?
No, I still take the Valium, but only for emergencies for seizures. It's not even for the PTSD anymore because I didn't.
Emergency seizures?
No, emergency seizures.
He has epilepsy, Judge.
Yeah, I have epilepsy, sir. That's another reason why they were giving me the Xanax too. But like, but they were saying that it was actually making it worse. They called them delirium tremors, similar to like withdrawal from alcohol. The benzos do the same. Yes, sir.
Sure,
but so that yes, sir. They're saying that it was helping, but if I
the other thing is I can't imagine that if you have one doctor prescribing all this other stuff, that doctor is going to continue to let you take all this, knowing full well that you're also using marijuana from another doctor, because they're contradictory and you can't do that.
So I wasn't taking them at the same time.
Okay.
Yes, sir. I had stopped the Xanax actually when I was when I went to jail for that state jail time, and whenever I got out, I was on like different medications in here and stuff like that. I just didn't want to go back on the same narcotic while I'm trying to stay sober, sir. So I mean, I know marijuana is not much better, but I just felt like it was better off taking something that wasn't physically addicting versus with the doctor's opinions and stuff.
Though. It can be as well. I mean, look, I'm sending you for a drug test now.
Yes, sir.
We need a complete list of everything that you're legally prescribed to take, because I want to know what you're allowed to take, and that's it.
Yes, sir.
Because I also need to know what's going to show up in the blood test and what's not supposed to show up in there.
Yes, sir.
But don't use anything that you're not prescribed to take.
Yes, sir.
And for sure, you best not get into a car.
Yes, sir.
I will absolutely lose it if you get into a car. Do you understand, Mr. Jones?
Absolutely, yes,
I don't know how much more plain and clear that I can make this to you. Don't get into a car.
Thank you, Judge.
Hold on. I need to make sure that if he's signed an affidavit that he's not going to drive. He does.
You
Okay.
understand that?
I believe so.
We'll set you off for a week, and then before he leaves today, I'd like a complete list of what he's got prescriptions for to take as far as any kind of narcotics, and
Yes.
so we can see it. All right.
Could you provide that?
I want to know.
If not, you do that too.
No,
Give
I'm
it.
sending you for a drug test now.
Yes, sir.
Depending on what that shows, I want to look. Okay. All right.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay, guys.
Right this way.
Herman.
So I'm gonna jump in there real quick, Jane. It's hard. The war on drugs. Yeah, I'm right there with you on hitting 50. I'm close, and like I said, I've never even smoked a cigarette. I'm a wimp, but there's no way in the world any of it makes sense. There's no way in the world any of it's practical. I don't get it. If we want to argue that it's for money, it makes complete sense. If we're going to act like it's just a money grab, it makes complete sense. But if we're going to act like we're trying to save people's lives, none of that makes sense. What you got on that, Alli?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering, and that's the judge's whole problem with this, is that the two doctors aren't talking to each other, because he's absolutely right. Like, it sounds like he was on a high dose of Xanax, or not necessarily a high dose, but on it quite often. And then when you stop taking things like Xanax, which is a benzo, you immediately go into seizures. That's exactly the side effect of withdrawal from a benzo. So yeah, when he stopped it, that's exactly what happened. And now he's not taking it anymore, which is good. He's on Valium, which is a lower dose and only when he has seizures. So that's good. But the weed doctor is not talking to the doctor that's prescribing the Lamictal and the Valium and the Suboxone and whatever else he said he was on. They're not talking, because the other doctor that's prescribing all the medications would not be okay with all of that, with him having weed. I can guarantee you that. So it'll be interesting. I don't know. I'll be interested to see what the judge decides. I'm really happy that he's going to talk to other judges. I don't know which way to come down on this. Like, yeah, the lawyer has a great point. If it was blood pressure medication, would you be? But I wouldn't take him off the medication. I'd take away his license. Like, you just can't drive.
Yeah, well,
Like,
it seemed like
Yeah.
they said he had lupus, which I don't know anything about lupus. I don't know what it does. He has epilepsy. I think they said he had a cold. You know,
Yeah.
he had everything possible. He had everything possible, and I didn't know you could have a license with epilepsy. I think maybe you can have a license, but you have to go so long without a seizure. But so much of that comes under personal responsibility, because, you know, if let's say you're a 50-year-old single guy, you know, living in the woods, and you got your pickup truck and you had a seizure, are you going to tell on yourself? Are you going to give up that
Right.
license, or are you just gonna just roll with it? I really
And that's a good point, Gina. Gina just said, doesn't the Suboxone doctor do blood work? And yeah, they should be doing drug tests, but I know that my methadone clinic doesn't care if there's weed in your system. They don't care. That's the one thing you can be dirty for, basically, and they don't care about. So it's possible they do drug test him and they don't know. I don't know. It's a very good point.
MGT. I for some reason, whenever I say the MGT, I always just think management.
Me too.
Yeah. So I'm gonna call you management until you tell me how to pronounce your name.
It's the chat manager.
Yeah. So you were asking about if you'd gotten in trouble going to Discord. No, not on this channel. The only thing that'll get you in trouble on this channel is just straight out hate. If you throw out some just some dumb racism stuff, or just some dumb
Don't
hate
be an
stuff.
asshole.
Yeah,
Just
I'm
don't be
just
an
saying,
asshole.
if you just are mean to somebody, you know, I'm not racist. I don't care about racism, but I'm also not sensitive to it. If you got an opinion, you got an opinion. But if you're just throwing out hate, there's all different kinds of lifestyles, and I live one of them. But I don't judge against anybody else's lifestyle. As long as it doesn't interfere with mine. I don't want anyone hurting me or my family, so I'm gonna protect me and mine. But on this channel, you know, if you want to talk about something, this is the channel to talk about it. Me and Alli get caught up in Judge Fleischer's in the mod world over there, and it's a different world over there. You got to keep it clean, and you know, there's times where I don't think I don't always agree with everything Judge Fleischer says, but I'm also not hired by Judge Fleischer. I'm not hired by that court. I was asked to help, and I'm going to help every chance I can. But this channel, we run it, and if we run it into the ground, that's on us, and I'm more than willing to take that risk to have this conversation.
Yeah,
But
me too.
Gina asking about how old the guy looked, I'd put money he's in his 20s, but he's had a rough life so far. But if he has half of the medical issues, him and that old guy on that last one from Thurston County, they got the same list of medical issues.
Yeah.
Just the IBS guy.
Yep.
Yep. And so they've got the same mess on there, but
I mean, I really hope I want to believe in this guy. I want him to be like in the midst of his recovery, and that's why he's on the Suboxone, and he's going to come back completely clean. Like I'm really pulling for this guy. I am. Like I just am.
yeah. And Brecken, he needs a psychiatrist. Yeah. If he truly wanted to take responsibility and truly wanted to change his world, if he would get honest with himself and get honest with everything, he could probably have a hell lot better quality of life. You know, by getting rid of some of it. Because he's probably miserable as hell.
Yeah, and another thing I picked up that I didn't pick up last time, rewatching it, is Judge made a good point. He's got 6 cases right now. He's had 6 cases in a short amount of time, like I think the last couple of years. So he's been busy. And I think that's another hesitation of the judge. It's not like this guy just came in and it's his first DUI. He has a history. And I think that is also playing into the judge's judgment on, okay, how am I going to approach this guy? Because it's an ongoing problem. Whatever he's doing, he's not doing life right.
Yeah, and
he touched on that in the end here. Like you gotta get your shit together. You gotta be busy and stay busy, and when you're not busy is when you do dumb shit.
Yeah. In management, you're saying you're just trying to figure out what you said. You probably didn't say anything. Allie's just good at marketing, and she's just trying to get you over to Discord to bump up the number. I haven't figured out what Discord. I haven't figured out the purpose of Discord, but Alli, she knows how to sell it, and so come on over to Discord. I don't know what it's for, but other than waking me up in the middle of the night, that's about all Discord's good for so far.
So I'm going to tell you what I want that Discord, at least my tab under the American Courts Discord, what I'd like to see. I'd like to see you guys asking questions. I'd like to see you posting any type, if you see like a court video or a body cam video or dash cam video or something like that you'd be like, hey, I wonder what Alli would think about this, and it's like got an addiction or drug related slant. Feel free to post the link and I'll look at it, and maybe it's something that we'll review on here. Just the conversation. Like I just want to have the conversation. I want it to be a resource. If you're going through something and you need to just get it off your chest, that's the place.
Yeah, and Kim, it does. It confused the first day on Discord. I truly thought there was no way I was going to figure it out, and I think I was on the phone with Jay. We tried to do a voice chat on there, and I think I was on the phone with her for like a day or a day and a half. And I couldn't figure out how to hang up, and so I had to have my daughter come in, and she's like, "Just press the red phone button, dummy." And so it took a little bit for me to figure it out, but I figured it out. We're going to jump onto a Thurston County one. This one is it's got some mental health issues, but it also just has some goofiness issues, and I really like. It's the same one that we were watching earlier, but it's a different case there, and I like how the judge talked to the person with special needs, but he wasn't letting her run the show, and he did a damn good job of it. He had a lot more patience than I could have, but he was really strong. He was strong to get his point across to her, and I think he may have got through to her. I don't know. I got a feeling that half of the people that walk out of court go right back to doing the same stuff that got them into court. But let's see where we go.
You provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
You can put your hand down. And how is it you need an order against Ms. Get the names. I had a number of names here today. Risto.
I am her ex-caregiver and she's my ex-client. We had worked together for over a year, and during that time had no problems and became friends. Towards the end, she was dealing with a mental health crisis, and I dealt with what they call in the caregiving world, the caregiving burnout. I gave a 2-week notice. I worked the 2-week notice. We cried and hugged and left on good terms. 2 days later, she's spreading rumors in our community of how I had stole from her, how I was bad to her, all these things that were not true in my situation. And I worked for another client directly across the parking lot from her and did the whole time I worked for her. So she was aware that I worked there. And I seen her taking pictures of my car, and I don't know where she is in her mental health journey, and I don't know if she's a danger to me.
Ms. Risto. Actually, before you do that, I have another question for you.
Sure.
You said you're not going to be working in your petition. You said you're,
My client that lives across the way is moving.
okay, so how many more appointments do you have to be there?
The end of this month, I think they're done, but a little bit more cleanup. She's has a care, that client has a care team, and she's trying to make it so I don't have to go back over there because of the tension and everything that's going on.
Ms. Risto, could you raise your right hand, please?
Yes, sir.
Do you swear to affirm in the information testimony you provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
You can put your hand down. So I saw your expression, or series of expressions when Ms. Dalton was saying that, that she thought that the parting was amicable, which means friendly. I guess I shouldn't speak Latin. But what's your perspective on that? Most of these cases, when they come to me, there's really no mystery as to what's going on.
Pause. Did he seriously just pronounce that amicable? He did that, right? I heard that. He just said amicable. You're muted. You're still muted.
All right. How about now?
There. Yeah, now I got you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. He's pronounced it that way a few different times, so that's just how he talks, I guess.
Sorry.
That's
I just, when I hear things like that, I have to stop and make sure that I heard somebody pronounce it that way. Then that way my brain didn't break, because I don't want that to break. But
yeah,
just making sure.
Yeah, and so he that's the way he pronounces it. And I don't know if he, I assume he's just, Kimby's got it right, it's Latin. And he's just, in the end, he's just more educated than me, so I don't take anything, anything he says, he wins.
Yeah, and I do want to say, I want to give this lady a shout out for the little bit of shade she threw with, like, I don't know where she's at in her mental health journey. That was great.
Yeah.
I'm stealing that.
Well,
that was so great.
Another thing that was little thing was she said she had the burnout, the helping burnout, and I can completely get that. I used to work at a mental hospital, and it was, it was scary to me. I'm not scary in the aspect of, ghosts or anything, but scary in the aspect of these people are so hurt, and these people are so, these people have so many issues, and there's just nothing I can do to help them. And of course, I was in my early 20s, and so there wasn't really anything I could do to help them. My job was actually the police would come in with people in handcuffs. And my job was to give the handcuffs back to the police. and sometimes that involved, being physical with the person to get the handcuffs off. Sometimes it was just as simple as saying, hey, if you can just be cool, I just got to get these off of you and get it back to the police officer. But
right.
a lot of times people are not in a good mental state, and so they think you're trying to hurt them when you're trying to help them, and so it's a rough spot. But
I see everybody correcting us and saying that we're pronouncing it wrong as amicable. So I that's why I asked. Like, seriously, I was just making sure that that's what I heard, and if it is pronounced that way in Latin, then that's what I needed to know. I wanted to make sure. So thank you for letting us know.
I think Victoria's the only Latin person I know.
That's a different kind of Latin. But no, this is in Washington State, Thurston County, which covers, God, like
Seems like
northeast
everything but Seattle.
of Seattle. Yeah, I think it's like northeast of Seattle, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong on that, but it's kind of in that general northeast sector of the state, or north or west sector of the state, not east. Sorry.
Yeah, so we'll get
Anyway.
we'll get off of our English
Okay.
lesson, and he
Yeah,
wasn't trying to
sorry.
use amicable. He was amenable. I don't know what the hell he was trying to
Oh,
say.
it might have been amenable. You're right. It might have been amenable.
Okay,
You're
well,
very right.
I'm gonna
Okay,
back
cool.
it up 30 seconds and let you guess it again.
You heard the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
You can put your hand down. So I saw your expression, or series of expressions
Yeah.
when Ms.
Yeah.
Dalton was saying that, that she thought that the parting was amicable, which means
Okay.
friendly. I guess I shouldn't speak Latin. But what's your perspective on that? Most of these cases, when they come for me, there's really no mystery as to what's going on. You heard about all this stuff. People in the neighborhood can't get along. Grandparents fighting over a grandchild. We've kind of heard the whole lot here this morning. This one, I got to be honest with you, I can't figure this one out. So what, from your perspective, what's going on here?
Well, I understand and agree with some of what Ms. Dalton has said, characterizing.
Okay, well, you can tell me what parts and you agree with and what parts you don't.
She did work for me for approximately a year to a year and a half, in that range.
She said it went well.
It did.
Okay. So
I
why are
thought-
we here?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, she says that you're saying not nice things about her to people, and it's getting back to her, is what I'm hearing.
Well, I have not contacted Ms. Dalton.
No, I know that,
I
but that's
have
not what I
looked
said.
at Ms. Dalton.
What's that?
I have not looked at Ms. Dalton.
Right.
I've been either in my apartment or in my parking lot or trying to catch up with all the details of my life that kind of fell apart when I lost a caregiver suddenly while I was in hospital being treated for what they called a bipolar and OCD condition. And I would add anxiety to that.
So you didn't like it much when she left. Is that fair to say?
No.
Well, again, my question was, are you bad mouthing her to other people,
No.
insulting? Okay, all right.
No,
You taking pictures of her car?
I took 3 pictures of her car
Why?
to show to my caseworker because I was so shocked at the carelessness of parking so close that I can literally see her parked car with the green bumper sticker in the middle from my porch.
So again, why? I don't understand why that's a problem.
I was leaving my apartment on October 3rd.
Mhm.
And it was approximately, I would guess, right around 10:30 to 11:30, in that range of time, to try to go and access the things that I need from my recent discharge from hospital.
Right. So I guess why? Okay, I don't understand why you were taking pictures of the car. I still don't.
I was shocked and instantly afraid, but then when I thought about it, I just thought, that's so strange. That's just such an odd place for her to choose to park when there are lots of uncovered spaces, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
I don't go into that parking lot. I don't go to the other client's apartment, parking lot, or property. But during our time working together, Ms. Dalton did share to me that she liked walking over the dirt slope between our apartments on Limited Lane.
Do you know that she has other people she was a caregiver for other folks in that complex or area?
I'm not aware of her being a caregiver for anybody else except for myself and the other client in the other apartment
Right.
complex.
So my understanding is the reason that she was parking there is because she was seeing that other client. That's what I got.
Right.
So does that
Oh.
explain her presence?
It does.
Okay. So I don't understand why that's such a big concern.
Well, because Ms. Dalton.
And why you would be afraid of that.
During
of
the
all people.
course of I'll explain to you, sir.
Okay.
During the course of our working relationship, Angie also shared with me that she had developed sort of a little acquaintanceship with the woman across the hall of my apartment complex, who she then chose to put a Ring camera on my door. I will guarantee you that sometimes I can be unpleasant. And sometimes my neighbor might even hear me being unpleasant. But there's an implied threat in her unsigned note that she shoved under my door virtually the same day that.
What's the note say?
It says, I can see the men that you have coming in and out of your house at night, and I can hear you with them.
Okay, so hang on. Who put that note there?
The woman across the hall, but she didn't sign it.
Okay. So, okay. So let me come back to you, ma'am. Have you had any contact with her since you left? Has she called you?
Not since September 5th, the first week of September.
Right. And so then basically
my
this
last
just
shift.
basically comes around of her taking pictures and, talking to other people.
Yeah, and in my defense, she knew I worked for that client because I thought they might have known each other years ago at a pub they used to both go to, and I even sent
All right.
pictures. Long story short, my other client uses a wheelchair, and that spot's the closest to their front door.
All right. So here's what's going to happen today, ma'am, for everybody. First of all, again, I could probably heard me read this a few times. I won't read it again. The definition of harassment is a knowing and willful course of conduct directed at a specific person. And usually it's directed at the person, and frankly, ma'am, Ms. Dalton, if she's talking to other people about you, there's nothing I can do about that.
I understand.
And
that.
then sometimes people who own businesses or restaurants, so they'll ask for these orders and say, tell them to take down that Yelp review. Well, I can't do that.
Sure.
And I think that, Ms. Risto, just talking to you gently, generally, and gently, sometimes people just move on from things. He was your caregiver and apparently it went well, but people can move on, which she did. And there's no reason for you to take pictures of her car. I still don't, I'll be frank with you, I still don't understand quite why that happened. But nonetheless, I'm not going to enter an order here today, but because she's going to be gone in a month, and then you won't even have to worry about it. But yeah, you said, these are your words, not mine. I can be unpleasant from time to time. You might want to think about that and that attitude when you talk about Ms. Dalton's her service, because it sounds like it went well. And why don't you focus on the positive? How about that?
I agree.
All right. That's what's happening for today. I'll give you copies of this. If you want to wait, I'll give you copies right now.
Yes, please.
The judge is just so over this. It's just like, I can't even believe I had to deal with that.
Yeah. Well, the TPO's hearings.
You okay there, man?
The TPO hearing is normally
experiencing the symptoms.
The TPO hearings are normally like 1 hour, a week, and today's was over 3 hours. There's a couple of really good ones. There's a couple of really good ones, and this was at the end, and so this was at the end of the 3 hour docket, and this was probably an hour after the IBS guy had got done.
Oh my gosh.
And so it was a good docket. And sometimes I wish I could just do these lives for hours, because it was worth it just to watch that, to watch this one today. And so, But this lady's got mental issues, and it seems like the other lady had enough of her. And so while she was in the hospital, she went ahead and cut ties with her. And so in the end, she's probably just brokenhearted. She's just she lost her friend.
Yeah.
That's
true.
Healthcare providers end up becoming personal, and hell, to sometimes it's just a job and you got to go.
Yeah.
And so
that's sometimes the only point of contact they have. They get close with them, and then they don't have anybody else. So it's sad all around. That's for sure.
absolutely. Well, let's run this one up. It's got 2 minutes left.
Tachycardia
Okay, I'm sorry.
because of stress and
Is there
my
anything, well,
diabetes,
again,
my blood sugar is over 300 because of stress. I have not eaten this morning. I have taken my insulin. My blood sugar ought to be
okay.
fine, but
Well,
it's
I
not.
hope, ma'am, again, I'm just gonna end with this. I hope what we're doing today, not in an order, I hope that relieves some of that stress for you.
Is that
It's like, what the hell do you want me to do about it?
Yes.
Thank
You can get copies of this in just a minute. Good luck to you both.
That's fine. She can go first.
Wait, just wait a minute, ma'am. We'll call you up here in a minute.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It doesn't happen.
I
We got
don't
that
care who
machine. You'll
goes
hear it.
first. I don't care who goes first.
Okay, I misunderstood.
So the people in the back there, if you see that whole back row there, that was a bunch of he pulled a gun on my brother, and so now every time they go by each other, he looks at me strange, and they don't
my
like,
goodness.
it's just a crazy. It was a good one too. There just wasn't enough time to do everything. There wasn't enough time to show them all.
Right.
And so I'm gonna stick them out in regular videos, but we're gonna finish this up. Steve, that makes all the sense in the world. Steve said this way he never gets too attached to his proctologist.
Yep.
Absolutely. So, a viewer on this channel, a lady that I consider my friend, Cindy, she lived down in South Florida, and she's been sending me pictures of her neighborhood. Tomorrow I'm going to share them on there. But her neighborhood's underwater, and just yesterday, so the storm was a week or two ago, and just yesterday FEMA had made it to her house.
Oh wow.
And she was kind enough to let me know, as soon as she got access to everything, she was letting me know. So I'm really thankful that she did that. But I'm going to share the pictures tomorrow. She didn't ask for anything. She didn't complain at all. She was thankful that her family was safe. And I think she said her significant other, so I don't know if it's her boyfriend, husband, girlfriend, wife. I don't know people like that. But she said her significant other waited 6 hours for 10 gallons of gas.
Oh my goodness.
And so, when you guys have a bad day, just think some of these folks are having it really bad. I know someone I'm really close with in these chats and in this channel. She's in the hospital right now. I don't have her permission to say it, but y'all should really look around and see who's missing. Look around and see who's not there. Who do you normally chat with that you hadn't chatted with in a while? And go and check on that person. Go and check on that person, because sometimes, just like this lady here, her caregiver was her caregiver was her person. She cared for. Sometimes these people in these chats, they, I know I've had chats with people, all different times of night on Discord and stuff, and people build connections. I'd always be cautious. Don't ever trust anyone you meet online. I'm sure serial killers nowadays are online, but
And don't give Victoria your credit card number. But other than that,
no, she'd get the slacker to Houston. I'm gonna go ahead and throw that out there. Linus is wanting to get to Houston. She's already got the plane ticket. She's on the home stretch. So if one of y'all wins the lottery tomorrow, jump in and bail her out.
help me put my goal is to put 20 pounds on her before she goes back. So I'm going to feed her all
you
the
put 20
foods.
pounds on her. Everybody else put $20 in on it.
Okay.
And so
Sounds good.
Victoria, you just sent me a message. You're absolutely right. I'll answer you in just a minute on what that is. But anyways, you guys have a great night. Thank you so much. We're going to try to do this every night. We're going to try to eventually move everything to one channel. We understand that it's got to be a pain in the ass to, jump around on the channels, but American Courts is not monetized. I get to ask them again next month. And if they do monetize it, we'll consolidate everything and we'll make everything make sense. If not, we're probably going to move to this channel and probably find something else to do with that other channel. I'm not giving up on YouTube. I got plenty of options and I got plenty of ideas. Alli gave me an idea yesterday that we're not going to announce yet, but we're working on. That's going to be really neat. I think it's going to work out great. But you guys, absolutely. And hey, look, Sarah Boone's going to testify tomorrow. Julie put out a link to the channel where she's got it. Hold on a second, I'm going to pull it up because I always mess up the name of her channel. And she's a moderator there. It's some other folks that are that do that channel, and they do good. They I'm trying to think of how do you say they do a lot of what you'd see like with Law and Crime, where they just simply show they just show the trial and they talk in the chat, and so it's a good channel. I don't play, around with the rules of YouTube, so I don't understand what's going on there. They do their thing and I'll do my thing. But I don't know that I'm finding. Oh, okay, it's Trial TV Live. Trial TV Live. I'll throw it up on the screen there. There we go. So go to that. They got the Sarah Boone trial tomorrow. I may be able to just pull out her testimony tomorrow. I don't know. Gene asking, what's the estimate for Boone's trial? 2 weeks. I got a feeling that it's going to be over even quicker. Yep. And management saying law talk with Mike for the Boone trial. Yeah, he'll probably have something there too.
Judge Fleischer's going to have a trial tomorrow too, guys. So if you're followers of him, he's going to have his trial tomorrow.
Good. Good. Now, law talk with Mike. With what I do on YouTube, I actually delete any other creators, and it's simply because I don't want to be influenced by what they're doing. But law talk with Mike, just like with most of the rest of them, he's the one who got me kind of into watching this type of format, and so I'm not knocking them at all. I'm just saying for what I do, I try to block them out just so I don't get distracted. It's too easy to look around. Thank you, Steve. You have a good night. Everyone else, y'all have a good night, and we will see y'all. You want to do tomorrow night?
Yeah, absolutely. Same time.
All right.
And we'll see y'all.
We'll see y'all tomorrow night.
Discord is in the Discord. Chat.
So,
yeah, Discord's in the chat.
Yes, so Kim, hold on a second. Alli, weren't you and Kim talking in DMs?
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
No, I think Linus was. I think Linus was. Okay. All right. Kim, we will find you. Kim will find you and we'll set you up with the Discord thing. But if you go to American Courts Discord, it's in Alli,
it's one of the tabs off to the side. Yeah, there's
Alli just threw it up there. So I'm gonna pin it up to the top for the next 2 minutes, and then we'll do that. You guys have a great night, and we will see y'all tomorrow night. See y'all tomorrow.
All right, good night, guys.